So last Monday morning, this guy, let's call him Michael, walks into my pharmacy, and I can tell something's wrong before he even says a word. His eyes are completely bloodshot, like he just finished crying at a wedding or something. He comes up to the counter, pulls out this little bottle from his pocket, and he's like, "I've been using this every hour, but my eyes are getting redder. Is my body broken or something?" I look at what he's holding. It's Visine Original. The classic red and white bottle that probably half of you have sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. And I immediately knew what was happening. Michael had just spent his entire weekend binge-watching some new series on Netflix, and now his eyes were staging a full rebellion. But here's the thing, the eye drops he was using weren't helping. They were actually making everything worse. If you've ever finished a Netflix marathon with eyes that feel like sandpaper, or you reach for those redness relief drops without thinking twice, you need to hear this story. Because what happened to Michael's eyes could be happening to yours right now. I'm PillMuse, a pharmacist bringing you real advice from the pharmacy counter. Let's get started. Alright, so I asked Michael to tell me about his weekend. Turns out, he's a software developer, works from home, and he just discovered this new sci-fi series. Friday night, he starts watching. Saturday, he's still going. Sunday, same thing. By Monday morning, his eyes felt like they were on fire. Now here's what most people don't realize. When you're really into a show, when you're locked into what's happening on screen, your blink rate drops like crazy. Normally, you blink about 15 times per minute. That's your eye's way of spreading tears across the surface, keeping everything moist and comfortable. But when you're watching Netflix? When you're really absorbed in the story? That number can drop to 5 blinks per minute or even less. Think about it. Your eyes are basically going 3 times longer between drinks of water. No wonder they're getting dry and irritated. But it gets worse. Michael wasn't just watching TV. He was watching on his laptop, sometimes switching to his phone during the boring parts. That means his eyes were constantly focused on something close up. There's this muscle inside your eye called the ciliary muscle, and its job is to help you focus on things at different distances. When you're looking at a screen 2 feet away from your face for hours and hours, that muscle is basically holding a weight and never putting it down. It's like doing a plank for an entire weekend. Your eye muscle is exhausted. So Michael's got 2 problems already. His eyes are dry because he's not blinking enough, and his eye muscles are completely fatigued. But then he made it worse with the 3rd problem, and this is the big one. He started using Visine. Now let me explain why this is such a problem. Visine and other redness relief drops, they contain something called tetrahydrozoline. It's a vasoconstrictor, which is just a fancy way of saying it squeezes your blood vessels tight. When your eyes are red, it's because the tiny blood vessels on the surface are dilated, they're open and carrying more blood to try to help with the irritation. Tetrahydrozoline forces those vessels to shrink down, so your eyes look white again. Sounds good, right? White eyes, problem solved. Not even close. Here's my favorite way to explain it. These drops are like concealer makeup for your eyes. You know how concealer covers up a blemish or dark circles under your eyes? It doesn't actually fix the problem underneath, it just hides it temporarily. That's exactly what Visine does. It's like makeup. It makes your eyes look better without actually treating the dryness that's causing the redness in the first place. And here's the kicker. When you use these drops over and over, especially multiple times a day like Michael was doing, your blood vessels get dependent on them. It's called rebound redness. The vessels start dilating even more when the medication wears off, so you need more drops, which leads to more rebound, and suddenly you're in this vicious cycle where your eyes are actually redder than when you started. That's what was happening to Michael. He thought he was fixing his eyes. He was actually training them to be permanently bloodshot. So I grabbed a notepad and wrote down 3 things for Michael to do differently. And I'm gonna share the exact same list with you right now. First thing, the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. I know that sounds oddly specific, but there's a reason for it. 20 feet is the distance where your eye muscles can fully relax. It's like finally putting down that weight you've been holding. When you look at something far away, the ciliary muscle we talked about earlier gets to take a break. Those 20 seconds give your eyes time to reset. And doing it every 20 minutes means you're giving your eyes regular relief before they get completely exhausted. I told Michael to set a timer on his phone. Every 20 minutes during his next Netflix session, pause the show, look out the window or across the room, just stare at something distant for a bit. It feels weird at first, but after a while it becomes automatic. Second thing, and this is the big one. Ditch the Visine. Seriously, throw it away. Or at least put it somewhere you won't reach for it automatically. Instead, you want to look for products that say lubricant or artificial tears on the package. Do not buy anything that says redness relief or get the red out. Those are the vasoconstrictor drops we just talked about. Now, when you're standing in the eye care aisle looking at 40 different options, it can get overwhelming. So let me give you 2 solid recommendations that work for most people. First option is Refresh Plus. This is what I call the gentle giant of eye drops. The main ingredient is carboxymethylcellulose, or CMC. It's very close to your natural tears, super gentle, and it works really well for people with sensitive eyes or mild to moderate dryness. It comes in these little single-use vials, which means there's no preservatives. That's huge because preservatives can actually irritate your eyes if you're using drops frequently. Second option is Systane Ultra. This one has a different technology. It uses polyethylene glycol and propylene glycol, and it has this cool feature where it forms a protective gel layer on your eye when it comes in contact with your tears. That means it lasts longer. If you've got really dry eyes, if you're the person who feels like you need drops every 30 minutes, Systane Ultra might be your better choice because you won't need to use it as often. Both of these are available over the counter at any pharmacy. You don't need a prescription. And here's my general rule of thumb. If you're going to be using eye drops more than 4 times a day, go for the preservative-free versions. Those are the ones in the little individual vials. If you're just using drops once or twice a day, the regular bottles are fine. I gave Michael a box of Refresh Plus to start with since his eyes were pretty angry and needed something gentle. Third thing on the list, warm compresses before bed. This one sounds simple, but it's surprisingly effective. You've got these tiny glands along your eyelids called meibomian glands, and their job is to produce oils that keep your tears from evaporating too quickly. When you're staring at screens all day or when you're tired, these glands can get clogged up. The oils get thick and stuck, like when butter hardens in the fridge. A warm compress melts that oil and gets everything flowing again. All you need to do is take a clean washcloth, run it under warm water, not hot, just comfortably warm, wring it out, and hold it over your closed eyes for about 5 minutes. Do this right before bed. It's actually pretty relaxing, and it makes a real difference in how your eyes feel the next morning. I told Michael to do this every night for at least a week, especially after long screen time days. So guess what? A week later, Michael comes back to the pharmacy. And I'm not exaggerating when I say his eyes looked completely different. The redness was gone. He actually looked like he'd gotten some sleep. He told me he'd been following everything on the list, and the biggest change was switching from Visine to the Refresh drops. He said, and this made me laugh, now when I watch Netflix, I bring water for my eyes, not just for myself. Here's what I want you to remember from Michael's story. Those redness relief drops like Visine, they're not evil. They have a place. If you've got an important meeting in an hour and your eyes are a little pink, sure, use them once to look presentable. If you've got a wedding or a date and you need your eyes to look clear in photos, okay, emergency use, I get it. But they're not for daily use, and they're definitely not the solution for screen-related eye fatigue. For that, you need real lubrication. Drops like Refresh or Systane that actually add moisture to your eyes instead of just hiding the problem. You need to give your eye muscles regular breaks with that 20-20-20 rule. And you need to keep those oil glands happy with warm compresses. Your eyes aren't broken just because they get red and tired after a long screen session. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're sending you a signal that says, hey, I need a break, I need some moisture, I need some help here. Don't ignore that signal. And definitely don't cover it up with the wrong kind of drops. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. And if you've got a bottle of Visine sitting on your bathroom counter right now, go check what it actually says on the label. You might be surprised. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you'd like to see an alternate version of today's video, featuring different cuts of the visuals used, check out my Patreon. It's all there for curious minds, just follow the link in the pinned comment.